This video is sponsored by Opinion Outpost.
So, there you have it. That is how Trap Lord Ross made 10 mil.
Look, when you're talking about Trap Lord Ross making those 10 mil, I don't know what I done finna made. Hold on, guys. So, this video talking about some Tupac faking his death, right? I ain't gonna lie to you. If Pac faked his death, he came back, I'm gonna be a happy motherfucker. You know why? Cause when Pac died, my ass cried. I ain't even gonna lie to you, folks. Yeah, I cried like that. I had to go and light it up for my boy. I was gonna try and do this. So this is what we finna get to.
Before YouTube. Hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure that you like and subscribe below. Make sure that you follow my Instagram at TrapLawRoss, and also don't forget to cop that TrapLaw merch. There's going to be a link in the description.
You know what'd be funny? This nigga really be rapping for his commercials. That shit be funny as hell, for real, but I be watching the Trap Law. I shout you out.
Definitely go there, cop some of that, and support the channel. Until next time, peace out.
Go. Y'all know who that is. You ain't had to watch that man play, you know.
Yo, Machiavelli, what's poppin', man?
What's poppin'? What's poppin'?
I'm just doing this YouTube thing. Hey, do you watch the videos that I sent over?
Think dope, man. Find love.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, do you think I should really be making fun of all these rappers like this, though?
You can't just be saying shit about us and think that we're not gonna take it personal.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Hey, you back from Cuba anytime soon? I need to hit you.
I'm coming back for sure.
Nice one, bro. Well, I'll catch you when you're back, yeah?
See, now that's some bullshit. You spending too much time playing with the dead, so-called.
Yo, Machiavelli. Don't think I'm gonna make it to Cuba, bro. Most people believe that we lost Tupac in a drive-by shooting on the 7th of September 1996. I call those people suckers. Because anybody that knows anything will tell you that my buddy Tupac is still alive to this day. Chilling in Cuba, puffing...
Tupac. He ain't got no CK on the end of his name. It's Pac, nigga. Pac. P-A-C. Pac.
Cohebas, wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt, and pushing a rusty old Buick from the 50s three-wheel motion. But I know the naysayers will say this is the stuff of conspiracy theories. But the fact is, the information is out there if you just look for it. So your favourite hip-hop historian is here, kicking off the month of April by answering once and for all, how did Tupac fake his death?
And now, a word from our sponsor.
I love Chris Rich.
Yes.
This it. But you ain't getting no play in here, player. Not on my account. We're gonna skip you. Get back to it.
Story, i.e. lie. Yes, he was in Vegas to watch the Tyson fight with Suge Knight. And yes, he was the target of a horrendous drive-by shooting following that fight. And yes, he was severely injured in that shooting and taken to the hospital where he was kept for several days. But after that failed attempt on Pac's life, Machiavelli knew the block was too hot for him to stick around. So he immediately set the wheels in motion on a long-standing escape plan that he'd had in his back pocket ever since he got famous. And according to his British bodyguard and my uncle, which is actually how I have the personal connection to Tupac and know so many details about this story. See the resemblance? That actually helped Tupac Shakur escape from the hospital during the 6 days that he'd been kept there after the shooting. And sure, I know what you're thinking, this story must be complete baloney. People are surely going to know that Tupac is missing from his hospital bed. Yeah, you big dummy, he thought of that. Tupac was actually replaced with a body double, a Tupac lookalike who was actually planning of dying of natural causes that weekend anyway. And sure, I know what you're thinking, oh, it's impossible to find somebody that looks like Tupac. Well, they did it for the film, and they did it back then. And sure, Tupac's old crew, the Outlaws, claimed to have smoked his remains in a spliff after his cremation, sparking the long-running trend of rappers these days saying that they put their ops in a spliff. But I can now confirm in this video once and for all, they were not smoking on Tupac Pac. They were just smoking on some dead guy who looked like Tupac Pac. Why do you think he was called Tupac?
Tupac, man. I understand you from over there, but don't go messing nobody's name up and you saying it all confident. You want to be 6'9", don't you?
And this body double switch narrative has actually been confirmed by famous documentarian Rick Boss, who is currently producing an amazing and big budget feature film about how Tupac managed to escape the hospital.
Most people would agree with official reports that after being shot, rap icon Tupac Shakur was taken to UMC where he died 6 days later. But local filmmaker Rick Boss has an alternate ending.
This movie is about Tupac actually escaping from University Medical Center here in Vegas and relocating to New Mexico, getting protection from the Navajo tribe.
As Rick says, he escaped by helicopter to tribal Navajo land in New Mexico where federal agents would be unable to follow him.
When certain FBI agencies are looking for you, the first thing they're going to do is block the airport so you can't travel out. So the best way to escape is through helicopter, private helicopter, to another state.
FBI agents can't go onto tribal land without the tribal council's permission. Boss says that's why Navajo land in New Mexico made for the perfect hideout.
And it's this reason why this story never actually leaked, because it would have been far too much of an embarrassing L for authorities to admit publicly that they got duped by Machiavelli in such a cunning way. And to the skeptics who don't believe that, I say, what? You don't believe the cops would lie? We saw what happened to Rodney King. So my Uncle Mike, along with my other uncle, Tim Westwood, went along with some senior Black Panther special operatives under the cover of darkness, flying Tupac to Barbados, where they landed and were in a celebratory mood. Whilst in Barbados, Tupac chilled out for a little bit, smoking the good kush and chilling out with his old friend Ronald Fenty, a warehouse supervisor who actually hid Tupac in one of his warehouses so that he could lay low and hide from the authorities until the smoke cleared. And funnily enough, while he was there, Tupac actually spent time babysitting Ronald's 8-year-old daughter, Robin, an aspiring singer who he gave loads of advice to on how she could one day crack the music industry. From there, Pac was handed to my other uncle Tim. He took over the operation once the authorities got word that Pac was hiding in Barbados and decided to move him to Cuba, where the US authorities could never touch him. And when they landed, they linked up with Tupac's friend, fellow member of the Outlaws, Gaddafi, who had actually faked his own death only 3 months after Pac's supposed death. Why do you think they call them the Outlaws?
But Buddy be tripping, man. I mean, I don't know, he leave your mind to wonder though, you know. A lot of this shit do make sense. And I'm gonna go look it up. That's what y'all should do too.
And so finally, in Cuba, Tupac had settled down until the end of time, away from the thug life and looked forward to better days. But unfortunately, thugs get lonely too. And over time, Pac began to feel trapped being in isolation in Cuba. And so in the years that followed, we would see numerous Tupac sightings all over the world.
Well, I've been helping people in America learn how to take advantage.
I ain't getting paid by y'all, so I ain't gonna get paid
for
by
40
y'all.
years. But
Naturally, the first person to blow Tupac's cover was the sucker that nearly got him popped in the first place, Suge. Let's have a little chat over on the balcony night. Suge was actually pictured with Tupac over in Cuba 8 years after his death in 2004. And although obviously this was the first image that was captured where Suge was alongside his still alive Tupac, over the years Suge Knight has been outspoken about the fact that Tupac was still alive, including this famous incident where a drunken Suge Knight was confronted by TMZ outside of a nightclub, leading to him accidentally spilling the beans.
When people ask me if I know who killed Tupac, and not saying Tupac dead or alive, I'm saying if I ask me if I know who killed Tupac, I'm gonna say, hey, absolutely not. I ain't the nigga killed Tupac, I'm the nigga protecting Tupac. Why you think nobody been arrested if they said they didn't want to kill Tupac? Tupac not dead. If he was dead, they'd be arresting those dudes for murder. You know he's somewhere smoking a Cuban cigar. You know what I mean?
As well as corroborating those claims in a prison cell interview with Ice-T for the documentary Who Shot Biggie and Tupac.
When I left that hospital, me and Pop was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you, Pop, you never know.
Oh, there you go.
In fact, it turns out that Suge had made numerous trips to Cuba to get into the studio with Tupac in the years following his death. to oversee the recording of his posthumous albums, including the Don Illuminati, which was released only months after his death, the album Are You Still Down in '97, Better Days in 2002, and Loyal to the Game in 2004, which was likely recorded around the time this picture surfaced. And in addition to that, in 2004, Tupac was actually spotted on a brief incognito visit to the US where he went to link up with members of the Outlaws. Apparently he was there overseeing the recording of the Outlaw for Life album, but ultimately he was forced to leave the US before even recording a single verse because of this jackass who was filming him outside the studio.
They go pop with his motherfucking homies right now. He holding the fucking coke. Look, zoom in. That's Pop, man. He with the fucking Outlaw.
Get him out of here, man. Get him out of here, man.
And being the workaholic he is,
I ain't gonna lie, that's an old camera, but how that camera looked, that ain't look like him. To me. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though.
Tupac didn't allow being dead to get in the way of supporting up-and-coming international artists. 2 years after those images surfaced, around 2006, Tupac actually made a cameo in the music video for Amsterdam to LA by Dutch artist Chilio. Apparently Pac and Chilio had actually met online, with Chilio being Tupac's Amsterdam weed plug in the years before dark web drug dealing had been invented. Eventually Chilio even bowed to international pressure and confirmed that it was indeed Tupac in the video, but refusing to give any further information. However, apparently Tupac was angered by this admission, as it's one thing for an unverified clip of his existence to surface, but it's another for one of his genuine close friends to actually admit publicly that he is alive. From there, Pac predictably cut off Chilio and his career went into a tailspin and he was never heard of again. Ironically, the same fate was actually suffered by longtime secret friend of Tupac, comedian and black lung rights activist Dave Chappelle. Apparently Dave Chappelle got a little bit too comfortable in his relationship with Tupac and ended up taking the jokes a little bit too far, famously mocking the fact that Tupac was still alive in a sketch from his Chappelle show where he pretended to dance in the club to music that Tupac had recorded after he died.
Is that new Tupac?
Spot like CJ from San Andreas. No, way before Slim Shady was in demand. Way before we dropped Bologna on Afghanistan. I wrote this song in '94.
Much like R. Kelly before him, Tupac was apparently furious because Dave Chappelle's comedy jabs just cut a little too close to the truth. And so from there, Tupac actually pulled many of his Illuminati strings to have Dave Chappelle's career ruined, and even conspired with Suge Knight to send LA goons to pull up on Dave. And this was actually the real reason that Dave Chappelle quit his show and fled to South Africa for his own safety. It actually took 10 whole years for Tupac to accept Dave Chappelle's apology, and eventually the beef was squashed. After a meeting between the two was arranged by legendary co-creator of the Chappelle Show and owner of only one of 5 N-word passes in existence, Neil Brennan. And so Tupac and Dave Chappelle became friends once again, and in 2015, Pac pulled his Illuminati strings once again and greenlit Dave Chappelle's Netflix special.
This game, you're not ready for it.
But aside from ruining Dave Chappelle's career for a good decade, Tupac continued to run the music industry behind the scenes for a good 24 years following his death. And as a result, he's actually been spotted at numerous industry events and parties. In 2009, he was spotted at the I Am Music Tour, and the same year, TMZ actually packed him in New Orleans at Cash Money Records after party, where he allegedly had actually scuffled with Birdman in a fight over who had the shiniest head in hip-hop. Then in 2011, he was spotted in the back of an Outlaw cypher, which is lucky because what?
See, I ain't gonna lie, this man went and found this shit. Folks always talking about the Illuminati stuff, and then the Illuminati, and then all that, you know. So I'm wondering, like, Pop, what you really got going on, man? What you really got going on?
Why would anyone watch one of these? But more interestingly, in 2011, rather unsurprisingly, he was spotted in the background of amateur footage taken during the Occupy Wall Street movement. This is something of a slip-up which pack spotters worldwide were keen to jump on.
Enter Tupac in the background. Can you believe what you're seeing? And he dances right past the screen. Can you believe that? He does the Tupac dance.
I mean, Tupac being at Occupy Wall Street makes a lot of sense. Throughout his career, he was always political and critical of the finance industry. Combine that with the fact that his mother, Afeni Shakur, had publicly supported the Occupy movement, an obvious nod to her son's attendance. Following that, story goes that in 2012, Tupac had actually even been considering a comeback to the market, even dropping a short freestyle in Sweden, where he was apparently on a business trip looking to help free several incarcerated...
Now, that wasn't Tupac. I watched that video myself about 100-something times. That ain't Pac. Didn't even sound like him like that. It's certain words Pac used to say that make you like, oh yeah, we know. It's not the words he says, it's how he say the words. It didn't sound like he was just talking from here. It sounded like he was talking from his stomach.
Rappers that was doing time there, since we all know the Swedish cops love arresting rappers. However, he swiftly left the country when he got word that Swedish authorities were looking to extradite him to the US on tax avoidance charges. And to be fair, those charges weren't without merit, because it actually turned out that Tupac had paid no taxes since 1996, claiming exemption due to the fact that he was dead. However, as they say, there are only two things you can't cheat in life: death and taxes, and by God, Tupac was trying to cheat on both at the same damn time. And so in 2012, apparently frustrated with not being able to perform, tour, or earn an income, Tupac came up with a genius finesse. He would make money through a lucrative tour, but flying under the taxman's radar by telling fans that he would be appearing as a hologram to perform lucrative shows like the Coachella Festival. And this was followed by intense speculation that this would be upgraded to a full tour. This whole thing was a genius finesse, and he managed to convince the entire public that his performances were simply a hologram projected onto glass to cover the fact that he had actually refused to perform unless he was shielded by bulletproof glass to protect him from his ops, which is why he looks a little bit glassy during those performances.
And it's like at a 45-degree angle. Plexiglass. And it ends up looking like it's 3D, but if Snoop had like walked backwards, he would have like ran into this screen and ruined the whole illusion.
If he would have been in front of it and then he would have backed up, he could have shattered the screen.
However, luck would soon run out for Tupac, as in 2012, he was arrested in Las Vegas on those unpaid tax charges, as seen on an episode of Cops, which has since been deleted by the FBI. But why would they do that? Once again, to avoid embarrassment, because apparently he managed to escape the clutches of those cops after they were distracted by two greased-up obese people on the sidewalk fighting over a plate of curly fries. That's Vegas for you, baby. From there, Pac fled to nearby LA, where he was laying low with his homie Snoop Dogg, since they both just performed together on stage at Coachella that year. Apparently, Snoop Dogg shielded Tupac from the authorities in his attic like some sort of gangster Anne Frank, Gang Frank, for a couple of years, all the way through 2014, where he even ended up snapping a picture of Pac at BET Awards, showing him off with a selfie, who Pac? But ever the ladies' man, Tupac never let being dead stop him from killing that pussy. Because during that time he was staying with Snoop Dogg, he was spotted at a Boston Celtics game with a fine-ass blonde chick on his arm. In fact, for a moment, they even put him up on the Jumbotron, where he seemed to be loving the attention for once, before quickly remembering that he was supposed to be dead and leaving the venue. But hey...
See, she can get out of hand. Maybe that was a whole lookalike that didn't look like nothing like him from here down. Dude was bigger. You know what? That ain't even what we here for. Hey, and forgive my green screen that ain't working right now. It's a long story. I ain't tripping. You don't trip. I rock out.
Blonde cuties weren't the only California love that Pac was getting. Because remember Ronald Fenty, the warehouse worker Pac was chilling with in Barbados? Well, it turned out that his 8-year-old daughter Robin grew up to be bad girl Riri. And for a period in 2015, Pac was even rumored to be dating her. This apparently even led to a short-lived private beef with Drake. But Drake apparently backed off when he realized that Tupac would ether his entire career on wax without even making any effort. But obviously, all of this kind of industry beef was bringing far too much attention to Machiavelli. So by the end of 2015, he'd fled the US, and more pictures begun to surface of him chilling back in Cuba, seeming to make the most of his time back home by establishing a local set of Bloods. And it's not entirely clear where Pac is to this day. YouTube
that looked more like Pac than the rest of them did, but nah.
Investigators like Debut7 continue to track Pac's movements across the world globally.
Thug Life, a video they put together for 2014, and standing in the shadows right here is an individual that you can't make out, and you barely notice is even there. It's so dark. So dark, and it's done on purpose. Hold up. Let's brighten things up a bit. And let's lock in. Ladies and gentlemen, Tupac Shakur is standing in the shadows of this room.
And even recently, Suge Knight's son claimed that Pac was still alive and hiding in Malaysia after sharing a picture of an aging Pac, along with a series of Instagram stories claiming that he was alive, referencing the Illuminati, and sharing several more pictures of Tupac with celebrities like Beyonce and 50.
Time out. Y'all niggas tripping. That's Rakim like a motherfucker. Yeah, you don't know who that is? Go look at that shit. Go look who Rakim is. Y'all learn y'all history. You know what I'm saying? We're not just gonna be doing all that. We're not gonna be doing all that. Y'all just ain't gonna be calling everybody that black that looking like, nah, hell no. That's Rakim. God.
And I've got to say, honestly, it's a real bummer that this whole coronavirus thing has prevented me from going to see Tupac. Because honestly, me and Machiavelli had so many sick video collab ideas that we were planning for you guys. We were going to do a Cuban food mukbang, first person to fake their death for 30 years wins a Lambo, and even a Tupac makeup tutorial. I guess that's never going to happen now, thanks to this stupid, fucking shitty health crisis. Virus. Hate it. Bullshit. April Fools! You didn't think I was really going outside, did you? We've got to stay inside, stay safe. Seriously, we all need to do our part to make sure that everybody gets through this thing fine, and that is big facts. Thanks for watching. April Fools, I got y'all. And until next year, a peace out. Big and out.
No. You ain't promote yourself a mind player. Hey, but check. This is my first video, you know what I'm saying? This ain't my first stream, but this like my little first video. I was doing this for my little YouTube channel, so y'all come check me out. That's that with the shit. You know what I mean? Like I say, this is my first one. I got some things to work on, but hey, you gotta start somewhere, right? Start off with the shit. In the mud, baby.